I never thought it would be him. Out of all the people in this small corner of Vermont, it was never supposed to be him who got under my skin. Dean Whitlock. Older than me by 4 years, broad-shouldered from summers hauling timber and winters repairing snowmobiles, with that laugh I could carry across the town hall during dances. We'd known each other for years, but never close enough to blur the lines of friendship. Before I take you deeper into this story, let me pause for a second. You're watching this because part of you knows how it feels to want something so badly you almost ache from it. And before it gets hotter, make sure you like this video, share it with a friend, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next, and I promise by the end, you'll feel in your bones. It started one late October evening, after too many drinks at McCready's bar. The leaves had burned to gold and red across the hills, and the smell of wood smoke clung to our coats. Dean and I had been nursing bourbons at a corner table, swapping half-truths about our lives. I told him about my job in Albany, office hours, computer screens, fluorescent lights. He shook his head and said he'd rather split firewood all his life than stare at a monitor 8 hours a day. Somewhere between the third and fourth glass, he leaned back in his chair, smirked, and said the words that would undo me. You ever tried it? With a man? I froze, the bourbon halfway to my lips. What? He shrugged, as casual as if he'd asked if I'd tried fly fishing. Just once. Not talking about forever. Just curiosity. You strike me as someone who thinks too much about things he never tries. I laughed, a little too loud, a little too nervous. And you're saying you'd volunteer? His smirk deepened. Why not? Try it once. See what happens. I should have brushed it off. Should have made a joke. Ordered another round. Gone home. But the way he said it, low, steady, with a flicker in his eyes that was anything but casual, stayed with me. I couldn't stop thinking about it, even as we left the bar and stepped into the cool night air. The streets were nearly empty, just a glow of lamplight on the cracked sidewalks. Our boots scuffed against the pavement, our breath visible in the cold. He walked close, closer than usual, and every time his arm brushed mine, I felt it like a spark. You're serious, I said finally, breaking the silence. Dead serious, he replied, not looking at me. Why not? Life's too short to sit around wondering. Try it once, and if you hate it, fine. No harm done. And if I don't hate it? That was when he looked at me, really looked. His eyes weren't playful anymore. They were steady, searching. Then maybe you stop pretending you don't want it. My chest tightened, my breath uneven. I wanted to say something, but nothing came. The night swallowed my words, leaving only the sound of our footsteps. When we reached his truck, he leaned against the door, arms folded, waiting, the lamplight caught in his hair, turning it almost copper, and his lips curled into the faintest smile. So, he said, you coming with me, or are you going to keep running from yourself? I should have walked away. I should have said no, but my body betrayed me, carrying me toward him before my brain had time to argue. The drive back to his place was quiet, too quiet. My hands clenched in my lap, my pulse thrumming in my ears. Dean didn't press. He just drove, his jaw tight, his eyes fixed on the road. His house sat on the edge of town, a 2-story clapboard with peeling paint, and a porch light that buzzed against moths. When we stepped inside, the air smelled of cedar and old books. He dropped his keys on the table, kicked off his boots, and looked at me. Last chance, he said. If you don't want this, say so now. I opened my mouth, but no sound came. The truth sat heavy in my chest. I did want it, more than I'd wanted anything in a long time. Instead of speaking, I stepped closer. Dean's eyes darkened, his body tensing as if waiting for a blow. But when I reached up, fingers brushing his jaw, he exhaled slowly, and then his lips found mine. The kiss was nothing like I expected. It wasn't clumsy or forced. It was slow, deliberate, searing. His mouth tasted of bourbon and smoke, his beard scratching lightly against my skin. My knees nearly buckled from the heat of it, and when his hand slid to the back of my neck, pulling me deeper, I gave in completely. When we broke apart, I was breathless, trembling. "Dean!" He grinned, but there was hunger in it now, raw and undeniable. "See? Told you. Try it once, and you'll want more." He wasn't wrong. God help me, he wasn't wrong. Dean's grin lingered as if he just won a bet, and maybe he had. My lips were still tingling, my body humming with an energy I couldn't name. I'd kissed women before, plenty, but never had a single kiss left me this undone. He stepped back just enough to give me room, as though offering me a chance of retreat. But my feet didn't move. I stayed there, watching his chest rise and fall, watching the way his hands flexed at his sides like he was barely holding back. "You good?" he asked, voice low. Yeah." My throat felt dry. Just didn't expect. "That you'd like it?" His smirk returned, softer this time, almost gentle. "Told you. Sometimes you gotta stop overthinking and let yourself feel." I should have been insulted, but I wasn't. He was right. My whole life I'd lived in my head, analyzing, second-guessing, building walls. And now here I was, letting them crack open. Dean tilted his head toward the stairs. "Come on. Don't want to do this standing in the hallway." His tone was easy, casual, but my chest tightened all the same. Every step up those creaking stairs felt heavier, as though I was climbing toward a point of no return. His bedroom was simple, unmade bed, worn flannel sheets, a dresser with a cracked mirror. A pair of boots sat by the window, caked in dried mud. Nothing fancy, nothing staged. Just him. He shut the door and leaned against it, arms folded. "So, what now?" I swallowed hard. "You're the one who said, 'Try it once.'" "Yeah," he said, pushing off the door and closing the distance between us. "And you kissed me back. Which means you're not as unsure as you think." His hand came up, brushing a strand of hair from my forehead. The touch was light, but it sent a shiver down my spine. I looked into his eyes and saw no hesitation, no doubt, only heat, steady and consuming. "Dean," I whispered, "I don't know how far." "Then let me show you," he murmured. His mouth claimed mine again, hungrier this time. The kiss deepened, tongues colliding, our breaths harsh in quiet room. His hands roamed over my shoulders, down my back, pulling me closer until I could feel every inch of him press against me. I gasped when he pushed me toward the bed, the back of my knees hitting the edge. We fell onto the mattress in a tangle of limbs, his weight covering mine, grounding me. "You feel that?" he whispered against my lips. "That's not nothing." And it wasn't. My body was betraying every fear, every doubt, answering as with a hunger I didn't know I possessed. I clutched his shirt, tugging it up, needing to feel his skin. He helped me, pulling it over his head in one swift motion. God, he was beautiful. Broad chest dusted with hair, muscles carved from years of hard labor. He looked real, raw, nothing like the polished images I'd seen in magazines. He was flesh and heat and want. My hands trembled as I traced the lines of him, from his shoulders down to his stomach. He closed his eyes, exhaling sharply, and I felt powerful in a way I'd never felt before. "Your turn," he said, tugging at my shirt. I hesitated, but then I let him peel it off. His gaze raked over me, not judging, just seeing, and the way he looked at me, like I was something worth wanting, made my chest ache. We kissed again, slower now, hands exploring, learning. Every touch built on the last, stoking the fire between us. It wasn't rushed, it was deliberate, intoxicating. When his lips trailed down my jaw to my neck, I arched against him, a low sound escaping my throat. He chuckled softly. "See?" Already begging without words. Heat flooded my face, but I didn't deny it. I couldn't, because he was right. Minutes blurred into more. Clothes hitting the floor, breaths turning ragged. The world outside ceased to exist. There was only his mouth, his hands, his body against mine. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of wanting. When he finally pulled back, his eyes locked on mine. This isn't just once, is it? I swallowed, my heart pounding. No, not anymore. He smiled, slow and certain. Good, because I'm not letting you run after this. Dean's smile lingered, but there was nothing playful in it now. It was steady, hungry, sure of itself in a way that made my pulse hammer my ears. His body hovered over mine, heavy enough that I felt pinned, but gentle enough that I knew he was waiting for permission for me to tip into this with him. And God help me, I wanted to. Dean, I whispered, my voice barely there. He kissed me before I could say more, swallowing whatever words might have followed. His lips moved against mine with a certainty that left no space for doubt, only feeling. His hand slid along my chest, down my stomach, pausing just above the waistband of my jeans. I stiffened, not from fear, but from the sheer intensity of it. You want me to stop? He murmured against my mouth. I shook my head quickly. No, don't stop. That was all he needed. His fingers made quick work of the button and zipper, and before I could even process it, he was sliding my jeans down, leaving me exposed in a way that sent heat crawling up my neck. I expected him to rush, but he didn't. Dean took his time, his calloused hands exploring, his lips following. He touched me like a man savoring something rare, something he'd been craving but never dared admit. Every brush of his skin against mine drew sounds from me I didn't recognize, gasps, moans, fragments of words I couldn't form. And then, just when I thought I'd combust, he pulled back slightly, eyes dark with amusement. See? You're already begging without saying a word. I bit my lip, embarrassed at how true it was. But I didn't care anymore. The need clawing inside me was stronger than pride. Dean, please. He chuckled low in his throat. That's better. He kissed his way down my body, each press of his mouth sending sparks racing through me. When he reached his destination, I nearly jolted off the bed, a strangled cry leaving my throat. The world tilted, blurred, narrowed into nothing but sensation. I clawed at the sheets, at his shoulders, anything to anchor myself. God, Dean, he hummed against me, and the vibration nearly undid me. My body was no longer mine. It was as every nerve lit under his touch. I'd never known it could feel like this. That desire could hollow me out and fill me at the same time. When he finally pulled back, my chest was heaving, my body shaking. He looked up at me, lips swollen, eyes blazing. Still think you'll only want this once? I couldn't even answer. All I could do was reach for him, pulling him up, kissing him hard, tasting myself on his mouth, and not caring. Somewhere in a frenzy, he shed the last of his clothes, and then he was bare against me. Hot, solid, undeniable. The shock of it stole my breath. Every inch of him pressed to mine. Skin on skin, no more barriers. Look at me, he said, his voice rough. I forced my eyes open, meeting his. The intensity there almost broke me. It wasn't just lust. It was something deeper, something that made my chest ache as much as my body burned. You're mine now, he said simply, and I'm not letting go. I swallowed hard, nodding. Then take me. The words left my mouth before I even thought them, raw and desperate. And the way his expression shifted, the hunger in it, the satisfaction, sent another shiver through me. He took his time, guiding me, steadying me, pushing me further than I thought I could go, but never once letting me fall. It was fire and surrender, tension and release, a rhythm that built until I was clinging to him, begging without shame. Dean, please don't stop. He didn't. Not until I was trembling, undone, wrecked in the best way possible. And when I finally shattered beneath him, it felt like every wall I'd built around myself crumbled too, leaving me raw, open, alive. After, he collapsed beside me, both of us breathless, the room heavy with the scent of sweat and cedar and something new I couldn't name. He pulled me against him, his hand resting over my heart, as though he needed proof it was still beating. "See," he whispered, pressing a kiss to my temple. "You tried it once, now you'll never stop wanting." And I knew he was right. The room was still. Only the soft hum of the old baseboard heater filled the silence. But inside me, everything was roaring, blood, breath, need, all of it tangled together in a way I couldn't separate. Dean's body was still warm against mine, heavy with a kind of exhaustion that comes only after giving and taking everything at once. I should have been ashamed. I should have been scared. But lying there, tangled in sheets that smelled faintly of pine and smoke, I felt nothing but a strange peace. Dean's hand stroked absently over my chest, rough fingers trailing circles that made my skin prickle. "Didn't think you'd let go that fast," he said quietly. I laughed, the sound hoarse. "Didn't think I had it in me." "You do." He kissed my shoulder, then my neck. "You've just been waiting for someone to drag it out." I turned to face him. His eyes dark but softened now. His lips curved in something that wasn't quite a smirk. "And that someone had to be you?" "Damn right." He leaned in, kissing me again, slower this time, lingering. The kiss should have been enough, gentle, steady, but my body betrayed me. Hunger rising all over again. The way his stubble scratched my skin, the way of his hand sliding lower, the heat radiating between us. It all coiled tight in my stomach, building fast. "You're insatiable," I muttered against his mouth. He chuckled, low and dangerous. "So, are you? Look at you, already begging without words again." "Dean, say it." His voice dropped, commanding but tender. I swallowed, my face hot. "Please." The satisfaction in his grin nearly unraveled me. That's what I wanted to hear. He rolled me beneath him once more, his body fitting against mine like it was meant to be there. There was no hesitation this time, no pause at the threshold of fear, only want, only need. And I gave myself to it, to him, to the way he moved with me, against me, in me. It was rougher now, but not careless, driven, urgent, like he'd been holding back before and finally let go. Every thrust, every sound, every wordless plea built higher and higher until I was clutching him, nails digging into his back, gasping his name like a prayer. "Dean, oh God, don't stop. Don't you dare stop." "I won't," he growled against my ear. "Not until you can't take it anymore. Not until you remember who made you beg for it." And I did beg. Shamelessly, desperately, louder than before. The world shrank to the rhythm of us, to the fire racing through me. To the breaking point, I crashed into a cry that tore itself from somewhere deep. Dean followed, his body trembling against mine, his breath ragged as he buried his face in my neck. The weight of him, the heat, the sheer force of what we just shared. It pressed me into a mattress, grounded me even as I felt like I was flying apart. For a long while, neither of us spoke. Just breath and heartbeat, the sound of the heater ticking. Finally, Dean lifted his head, his eyes searching mine. "Still think this was just a one-time thing?" I shook my head, words stuck in my throat. "Good." He kissed me, soft this time, almost reverent. "Because I'm not letting you go. Not after this." Something inside me broke open then, not with lust but with something deeper, something terrifying and beautiful. I kissed him back, pouring into it everything I couldn't say aloud. When we finally pulled apart, I rested my forehead against his. "Dean, yeah, I don't ever want this to stop." His smile was slow, steady, certain. "It won't, not if I have anything to say about it." And lying there, with his arms around me and his heartbeat steady against mine, I knew there was no going back. I'd tried it once, and now I was the one begging for forever.